The ultimate goal of classical physics is absolute predictive power. By identifying the exact physical interactions acting on an object right now, we can calculate exactly where it will be and how fast it will be moving in the future. But the physical world is chaotic. A rough surface, a heavy block, the air around it, these raw, real-world variables cannot be calculated directly. They must be translated into an abstract, strictly ordered mathematical framework. This framework is the Cartesian coordinate system, giving us a rigid grid of x and y axes. Here, the physical object is stripped of its shape, volume, and material. It is reduced to a point mass, placed precisely at the origin, where position equals 0. By isolating the mass and stripping away environmental noise, we establish a clean mathematical slate. This translation from physical reality to a rigid coordinate grid is the mandatory first step before any calculation can occur. With the point mass locked at the origin, we create a free body diagram. This is the blueprint that maps every force pushing or pulling on our object. The strict rule of this diagram is that we only care about external forces acting on the object, and these forces must be systematically organized along our established x and y axes. Identifying these forces is an exact science, not guesswork. Classical mechanics relies on a finite checklist of fundamental field forces and contact forces to map the system. Accuracy here is critical. A single missing force, or a misaligned vector on this diagram, guarantees a failed prediction of the object's motion. The free body diagram, therefore, serves as a precise mathematical ledger. It catalogs the exact physical reality of the mass so we can solve the system. We begin organizing our ledger on the vertical, or y-axis, starting with the most omnipresent field force in classical mechanics. In this diagram, the vector arrow extending straight down from the point mass represents weight. Calculated as mass times gravity, this gravitational field force acts continuously toward the center of the Earth. Gravity exerts a constant downward pull, yet our mass doesn't accelerate downward. It is stopped by a surface. The surface responds with the normal force, a perpendicular contact force exerted upward by the ground, pushing back to support it. As long as the object rests on a perfectly flat horizontal surface, this normal force perfectly mirrors the pull of gravity. The upward push N exactly equals the downward pull, mg. Because these two forces are equal in magnitude and strictly opposite in direction, they sum to 0. The object experiences 0 vertical acceleration. This vertical equilibrium is the hidden mechanism ensuring solid objects don't continuously accelerate through the floor beneath them. Real-world environments are rarely perfectly flat. When we tilt the supporting surface to a specific angle, theta, we introduce immediate mathematical complexity. Look at how the coordinate axes in this diagram rotate with the tilted surface. The normal force stays perfectly aligned with the new positive y-axis, but gravity ignores the tilt. The weight vector remains pointing straight down, breaking alignment with our coordinate grid. We cannot add vectors that point in arbitrary directions. To fix forces that refuse to align with the chosen coordinate axes, we use a technique called vector resolution. The rule is absolute. Any angled force must be sliced into two perpendicular components. We resolve the misaligned gravity vector by splitting it. The vertical component, mg cosine theta, presses into the ramp. The horizontal component, mg sine theta, pulls the mass straight down. This slicing technique applies to any misaligned force in mechanics. The horizontal projection of an angle of force is always calculated as the force multiplied by the cosine of the angle. Correspondingly, the vertical projection is calculated as the force multiplied by the sine of the angle. Vector resolution allows us to project messy, real-world angles onto a strict grid. Without it, summing competing forces in a complex system is mathematically impossible. Returning our system to a flat surface, we shift our focus to the horizontal x-axis, the primary domain of lateral motion. This diagram displays an applied force. It represents any external horizontal push or pull acting on the mass to initiate movement. Immediately, the surface resists. This opposing vector is friction, a reactive contact force always pointing in the exact opposite direction of intended motion. Friction behaves dynamically. Static friction scales up to match the applied force, holding an object perfectly in place. But once the object breaks loose and begins sliding, the resistance drops to a constant force known as kinetic friction. If we expand our physical system to include multiple connected bodies, we introduce another distinct horizontal force, tension. Tension is the pulling force distributed equally through strings, ropes, or cords. It transfers the applied force from one mass to another across the system. The horizontal axis acts as the primary battleground of mechanics. Here, applied forces and tensions fight continuously against frictional resistance, and the victor dictates the movement of the object. Looking at this complete free body diagram, we have all our individual vectors on the x and y axes. Now they must be mathematically summed into a single master equation. Newton's first law, the law of inertia, dictates that if all opposing vectors perfectly cancel out, the object's velocity cannot change. It will remain entirely at rest or glide forward infinitely at a constant speed. But dynamics only emerge when the equilibrium breaks. When the forces pushing in one direction exceed the forces pushing back, we apply Newton's second law. The sum of all forces, the net force, equals the mass multiplied by its acceleration. This means the total unbalanced net force dictates exactly how quickly the mass will accelerate in a given direction. To find the acceleration of an entire system, we divide the total external pulling force by the total combined mass of the objects involved. And through Newton's third law, we know that all interacting contact forces within that system, like normal forces or tension pairs, exist as equal and opposite action-reaction pairs between the bodies. The net force is not a physical push you can point to in the real world. It is the final mathematical letter, the resulting sum of all interactions that dictates exactly how the system accelerates. Deriving the net force and calculating the acceleration completes the first half of the mechanics engine, but we still need to predict the exact future state of the object. Acceleration acts as the critical bridge connecting our static map of forces to a dynamic state of motion over time. This split layout shows the first step in predicting the future. On the left, we isolate acceleration. On the right, we multiply that acceleration by the time elapsed to calculate the exact change in velocity, a vital conceptual reflex. The direction of the net force vector will always perfectly match the direction of this change in velocity. By taking this calculated change in velocity and adding it to the initial velocity, we arrive at its exact final speed. Acceleration is the indispensable translation layer. It is the single variable turning a static balance of pushes and pulls into dynamic, measurable movement over time. We have the forces and we have the speed. The final requirement is determining exactly where the object will be physically located in space. Looking at this coordinate grid, we track the object's displacement. Depending on our known variables, we select specific kinematic equations, like this one, linking final velocity, initial velocity, acceleration, and spatial displacement. To find the total physical distance traversed, we plot a precise arc of distance over time. We started with a chaotic physical object, constrained it to a rigid Cartesian grid, and mapped its interactions on a free body diagram. We resolved misaligned vectors, summed components to isolate net force, extracted the acceleration, and fed data into kinematic equations. This sequential pipeline goes beyond exam questions. It is the definitive, universal engine used to predict the motion of mass throughout the classical physical universe.